Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis, and in this video I want to do a Master Lost Sector guide for Chamber of Starlight. Now, big things we got are overcharge weapons, so pay attention to those, match your subclass for kind of a reason. Got Solar, got Strange, and remember, overcharge weapons also include those that are part of your artifacts and your champion weapons, so keep that in mind. Attrition's annoying, so we're going to play really cautious. Solar Threat, we're going to take care of that, and then Champion, Overload, and Unstops. So Solar Threat, I would recommend... You're going to have some far away range shots on this one specifically. So depending on how you can set things up, whatever you're messing with your mods, the resistance will probably be more of a priority. So I'll probably bump my stat down a little bit there, and we can go solar resistance to match that. Actually, that would be Strand, so that's no benefit. I would go Sniper just because it's combatants that are at far range. Those are going to hurt probably a lot. A lot of this we're going to be pretty far from. And then the other one I would probably do is Void. So Solar, Sniper, and Void will probably help you the most. My build is probably not going to get me too much when it comes to kills and things like that. We'll get a few here and there, but it's nothing too crazy. I'm trying to go no exotics. I do have Heart of Inmost Light, but that's really not going to help me that much. Just because I'm set up right now, I'll just try not to use abilities that much. And the main ability that I would tell you is I'm a Titan. So as a backup, I'm using something like my Towering Barricade and Lash, or what is it, Suspend, basically, to get them to hang out. Now, if you're not going to use your grapple that much either, you could also go with a Shackle Grenade. So you have a couple different backup ways to deal with unstoppable champions. You're only going to be doing the Overload champions from range, and this is where a bow comes in. I'm using a bow under your skin. It's pretty straightforward. It's just one I've got crafted. I would honestly recommend Lay Monarch if you're going to do this, though. It's very powerful in here. A lot of Void Shields, like a ton of Void Shields. So if you have Lay Monarch, absolutely recommend it. Otherwise, Overload. Because your only options are Auto Rifle, SMG, or Bow for Overload, outside of Guaranteed. So Lay Monarch, massively easy, but as a bow, that's not. Scout Rifle, straightforward here. This is going to be our Unstop weapon. And then for a heavy... I'm struggling right now. I tried the grenade launcher. It's okay. It just doesn't feel like it hits that hard. I'm actually just going to do a sword, kind of stupidly, but the only ones you really might get close to are going to be the bigger guys. So we're going to try sword, see if that works. And then artifact mods this season, I've got Shatter, Bricks from Above, Void Channeling, Volatile Flow, kind of these cheapening mods and stuff like that. So... quick run through there. Stats, 100 Resil, of course, running in with a Strand subclass, so that'll help my kinetic weapon hit harder, but that's covered. So overall, basically just trying to manage everything in this giant thing at range, so it's a little slow, but if we can get it done, I'll show you guys how it works. So let's go inside. Alright, so when you step inside, first thing you've got up top is going to be a Hobgoblin, so I would take those out pretty early. One down below as well. And these are the Void Shields. You're going to see them all over the place. So take out the Void Shielded guys. The Unstop won't get too aggressive. And this is where, again, you can just kind of plink him down if you want to. Nothing too exciting here. And if you want to go for a little longer suspend, that's where you're going to be able to do that. And again, remember, on Unstoppable Champions... because the suspension lasts. On Unstoppable Champions, if you don't want them to come running at you, just get out of line of sight when they're suspended, and you'll be okay. So this is going to be the tedious process, mostly because there's a lot of guys around the corner that I don't want to deal with. There's not really a better way to do this right now. And again, this is where I debated on my heavy. If you have a linear fusion rifle that is solar, I would probably use that. Now, granted, the only two that I know of come from raids, which is quite frustrating. Now, if you've got something like Sleeper, you could 100% use that. And that would actually probably be my top recommendation, but without using exotics, this is a little slow. But to start, yeah, Solar Linear, whether it's they're two legendary ones from the raid, you're going to use anything else. Just try and, I mean, if you could use Gallahorn in here, and it's probably going to be more effective. I'm just trying not to. I want to pull him at this point, though. Want to get him running around this corner. Come on. Come on. You know you want to. He hurts, but... see, that's the thing. He's almost, like, unable to come back this far. So, if you mess with him a little bit, if he gets a little aggressive, it hurts. Okay, he's not a big threat. Just tedious. Okay. So, now, down below, we're going to have all of our Acolytes. Hobgoblin... He's going to take 2 shots. Acolyte's down below. A lot of void shields. That's why breaking those void shields. Now, I do have, I think it's the artifact mod or possibly an armor mod that's going to allow me to get orbs of light when I break a shield. Notice I'm swimming in orbs of light. It works. I mean, if you go into an activity and you know you have a certain type of shield a lot and all the time, it's really good to use that. Now, the more annoying one and that probably hits the hardest is our Overload champion friend back there. Now, the problem with the bigger guy is the fact that he's going to be kind of sometimes walking in front of the Overload. So it depends on where you get him to stop. But the Overload in and of itself is just going to be a slow process with a bow. Not much you can do about it. Just try and peek out when you're going to fire your bow. And then come back. Now, I've got Explosive Head on my bow. That's probably one of the better PvE perks. I've got Major Spec on here. And it's a Void bow. But because it's an Overload weapon, I'm getting the benefit of the Overcharge. So I'm still getting the damage benefit from it. I tested all the different types of bows. Everything hits the same because they're Overload set up. So don't worry about that one. Again, this is just a patience loss sector. This is not one you're likely to farm. If you guys are trying to knock this out today, this should help you out. A little bit slower, though. Now, there are better loadouts. Something like Le Monarch with a Solar Linear Fusion Rifle in the right subclass. You could probably do some pretty good damage in here. I'm just going very slowly on this one, mostly because I have to. Now, he's going to be annoying with his fire, but with a Suspend Grenade, I can probably come up here and just wreck him with my sword. There you go. Now, the other reason I honestly thought a sword might not be a bad idea is if I can get the Unstoppable Champions frozen in place, I can just wail on him with a sword. Probably a little more ammo efficient. So once you come around the corner, we're going to have some ads here. Try and tag the shields that you can. You're going to have a few of these guys up here. They're not that big of a deal. They're just there. Attrition is just probably the most annoying because if you get tagged and you get low on health, you're going to be struggling just to stay alive. So, sword's nice for just some of these guys, honestly. Alright, so now you have a choice, depending on where everything lands. If there's an unstoppable champion in front of you right here, you don't have too much of a choice. You kind of need to pull him back and mess with him. Notice my back is basically against this wall. That is going to keep you safe for most of this, especially when the wizard spawns and the overload champion's in the back. Now, if you don't go over the wall, you're not going to be facing too much of what's over there. Got an overload champion in the back. We'll take care of him in a minute. This is literally just a patience loss sector. Not really any other way to say it than that. But for me as a Titan, I've got my barricade, which can lash if I can line it up right. I've got the grenade, which is probably the more reliable, and then I've got my scout rifle for the unstoppables. So the unstoppables are going to be the tough one. So running that shackle grenade is actually going to work out really well because there are certain times when enemies are going to... He's way back there. So this can be a little bit slow. Hard to see him sometimes. The big thing is there's an unstoppable champion on the other side of the wall. So if you have an angle back here, you can do this. If you push up like this, you might attract some attention, but you might have a better angle if he doesn't hide. Now, that's where I said you'll get shot on the other side. So, that's the prime example. But if I want the unstoppable champion to follow me, which he very well may, yeah, I kind of want to bring him back here just to mess with him a little bit more. I'm going to try and get him to pull, but again, watch your cover. That was way too close. And that's where that grenade's going to come into play really, really, really well. Now, he's probably about to get out. You want to pull back. If he chases you, keep pulling back until you're able to freeze him. Then you can keep going. Now I've got the option to lash him. Not everybody will, but I do just because I'm a Titan and my barricade does that. But again, you can sit here and just plink him with a weapon as well. These guys just get to be a little frustrating because they will chase you. They will get quite aggressive. So if you can manage them any other way, so they get to be a little easier. Now, champion's down. I'm going to have some enemies to my right, and I've got a champion on the back wall. If you want to kind of limit the number of ads over here, you can kill these guys now, or at least tag their shields. Probably going to be the best way. Hobgoblins especially are good to take out early. The Acolytes are less of a concern. But if you got Hobgoblins, those are good to take out while you can. So between the Void Shields, the Solar Shields, and the Sniper Shields, you're going to get some decent protection on this. But with attrition, your health takes 6 years to come back, so it's just not that fun. Now, right now I have a little bit of room. But as soon as this Overload Champion goes down, I'm going to be in a bit of a pickle. That is why picking this guy off from far away is what I would recommend. Mostly because, and I have Volatile Flow on, so I can make him volatile for a hot minute. The reason I'm this far back is because, one, it's hard to get headshots, but you can get body shots. That way you'll get the steady damage on him, and he won't get his health back. The other thing, as soon as this champion goes down, more champions spawn, and an unstoppable champion spawns basically on my head. So this is why the Shackle Grenade will work very well for the unstops. It's a quick stop to that guy, and then you can kind of run back, let everything settle up, and kind of shift where it's going to land, and you're able to manage it. But if you're way pulled forward, you can get caught out of position. If you're going for a solo flawless, that can definitely be an issue. So sitting here and pulling this guy down is not exactly exciting, but it works. Works rather well. Now, Layman Arc, faster than any regular bow that you would have, so if you have Layman Arc, please use it. It's just so much better. The poison damage ticks, you'll get more group clears. Kind of fantastic. Thank you, little attrition health orb. Oh, got one more. He's almost dead, so don't forget about him. And you'll see how fast. As soon as this guy dies, be ready to move. So when you know that last shot's coming, right there, shackle the unstop, and run. There's 2 of them, to be completely clear. And depending on how far the unstopped champions pull, you might have to retreat a long ways. They don't see you back about this far, you're probably okay. Then you can work on the little guys. But then your next goal is just tracking down the unstoppable champions. That's the main piece of this. And the Void Weapon will actually help you get your heavy ammo back a little bit, which is good. Overall, not too bad. And again, around the corner, you're going to find all the fun. So you're going to have more ads, more acolytes, more unstops. All this stuff's over here. So break the shields until one of the bigger guys shows up. Chain shield breaking does wonders. And again, this will be really slow until you pull him over. That's kind of where we're at. We've also got a new unstopped champ that will show up back there. Be careful of those. They will just barely be out of range, but sometimes they can tag you. There will be another unstop, by the way, so don't worry. Or overload, I should say. He is coming back, eventually. Now, being as I don't have really the ability to run over there, it's going to be a little tedious on this guy. Suspend just works really, really well, though, because it lasts so long. Now, as a Titan, I can use my super and actually mess with unstops, because I could lash him up in the air. And just kind of hang out with them. Otherwise, it's just going to be a little bit slow. So that's kind of the toss-up. You have a crowd control grenade with the shackle grenade, but it's just not going to do that much damage. And if you can get one of these guys isolated to work on him, works pretty well. The other guy being far away, kind of ruining some things. It typically won't go all the way around, though. Keep them isolated, pulling this way. Now, they will if they get aggressive on you. Yep, now he's coming. You thought about it. So you can kind of play with this wall as your bit of defense, just to kind of mess with them, depending on what they're going to do. Just watch to your right. You might have some ads take a couple shots at you. And it's kind of takes a little getting used to this one. So if you are having some struggles, you're not alone. Attrition just makes everything a panic. So just look at that health bar go. Whee. Takes like 6 years. All right, you got aggressive on me. So if he comes around, and that's the second guy who came around. Now, if he wants to come around the edge, I'm going to go for the shackle, and I'm going to go for some bigger damage. Now, as a Titan, I can do the fun part here. I can cheat as a Titan. I know you all won't have that as an option. I could use my super as well, which would be nice. So again, depending on your loadout, you've got different tools where you can take care of these guys a little quicker. You see the amount of damage I'm doing to him, though? Like 5,000 a swing is not that much. Doing 12,000 with a sword? Yeah, that's more effective. Okay, so the one that actually had more health is now down. This guy, who is almost dead, is now down. If I can get him close enough to me, I'm going to go for a finisher. There we go. Now you're going to get another set of ads. And that's where your Tangle Grenade is going to save your life, right there. Because now the boss is up. Last Tangle guy's up. But you're alive. Trying to go for a flawless on this one, and those guys catch you out of position, you are kind of screwed. So really try and just use the tools at your disposal, because these guys just have a chunk of health. Now I'm doing this at 1800. If I was higher health, or higher level, like if I was 1810 weapons and full pinnacles, and my artifact was at 1825 or something like that, yeah, this would go a little quicker, but at 1800, it's doable. It's just slow and patient. That's the biggest thing. And if people are trying to get exotics, they may just have to be, you know, working in the slow fashion. The shackle grenade's pretty easy to throw. Make sure you go for those crits. Why? He's not getting... He's, like, not stunned, but he's up there because I'm not hitting the right damage numbers. Yeah, that was weird. Now, he should be my last unsop. I don't think there's one more around the corner. So annoying. Okay, those don't even hit that hard. Yeah, this is like 15 minutes just to get here. So this is why. It's like you can stun these guys for forever, basically. So it's not like a high threat most of the time. If you know when things are going to spawn, there's not a huge risk in here of anything too detrimental coming at you, as long as you know your timing of things. Now, my sword's not going to benefit me too much. I'll tell you that right now. But at least from here, I know I'm safe. So, no more revives, so you got to be very cautious here. Now, when it comes to the boss, I will usually just plink it every so often with a void bow. Break the shield, let the shield do some damage to it. That'll get some work in. Now, in the back, you are going to have one more overload. Now's a good time to just work on that. If your back is against the wall, the overload shots should not make it to you, and also the wizard will not be able to tag you back here. If the wizard starts shooting you, yeah, run, and then just, you know, try again. But for the moment, really not too bad. And just the patience here. Again, same thing. Take your time. Again, this is at 1800, and then my artifacts got like plus 12, so I'm like 1812. I am not optimal. If I was 1810 and plus 15 more and like sitting at 1825, it would feel different at Master. I mean, these are 1840, max effectiveness of 1820. It's as weak as my weapons are, 20 levels basically below effectiveness right now, makes a difference. So while it's slow, we're getting the job done. Come on, we're almost there. And again, make sure you get that full draw, but if you get the full draw even as a body shot, the overload's not going to get the health back. You may not always get the head crit and you're good. Alright, so now is where you can just start plinking away on the boss. And you're just at a range with your back against the wall. There's not much the boss can do. If you want to go up there and you've got a good super, go nuts. Otherwise you can do this. I don't think there's that many more ads that will spawn. I was like, nah, I can't like throw a shackle grenade over there. It's not really going to do anything to the boss. The boss won't get shackled. It's not going to get that. It might get a little, like a little strand debuff or something for a little while. Maybe a little... Looks like it's got something above its head, so it's probably I think it's severed, so it would technically do less damage, but overall, not too dramatic. This is kind of why this one's all about patience on a non-exotic run. There are better runs you could do. I would be more effective, obviously, with a better exotic, but take care of the acolytes so they don't go wandering too far. Thrall's not a big deal. They'll come find you. And if you can get an orb and get a little volatile flow going, do it. But this is why you want to get out of range. Those shots just hurt. And they come in such quick succession. That's why they suck. So those bonuses from volatile, probably only get like one more benefit from that, but we're almost done. Now I'm at the point where it's like, do I want to go for using my super? I could. Or do I just want to stay back and finish this thing up safely with attrition on? Probably not. And done. It's pretty much that easy. Fast? No, but easy to do on master difficulty. Hopefully you get an exotic. Hopefully you have a better drop rate than I do, kind of thing. Yeah. Really? Well, we both missed at least. Here we go. Alright, should be safe to pick everything up and see if we got anything good. And I did not get an exotic, just 3 cores. I feel like whatever they were supposed to do for exotics, because I'm recording this on like March 19th, so this could come out much later. Hopefully they've got better drop rates by then. Let's get back to the top and we'll finish this recording up. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for Chamber of Starlight. Again, the Overload Bow, kind of my only recommendation here, because auto and SMG at the range you are shooting these guys is really not going to work. A lot of Void Shields, so Void Bow works well. If you have Layman Arc, go ahead. Can't ask for a better weapon to knock this one out. For Unstoppables, you could go Glaives, you could go Shackle, you could go Suspend. There's a lot of options you could use for Unstoppables. Find what works for you. As for the heavy weapon, again, if you don't want to use something like Layman Arc, Galahorn's probably going to be pretty solid in here. I was just trying not to use exotics personally, but there are going to be some options. But that Void weapon's going to help you get some ammo back, especially if you use like Layman Arc. That's going to work very well. But that's mostly it. A little patience in here and you guys will knock this one out. The higher level you are on any of these, the more effective you will definitely be. So more pinnacles, more artifact level, always going to be beneficial. So if you guys enjoyed this one, drop a like below, leave a comment if you got questions or a build that you like using. You guys can find me on Twitch or Twitter at Ebontis. But if you're new to the channel, or if you just haven't yet, which I know many of you haven't, please hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell, and I will see you all in the next one.